Hi Equals, it's Kim, and it's been a while. I kind of felt like I ran out of things to say. Sometimes that happens. So I haven't posted anything for a while. Some of you might know I am the CEO of a consulting firm called KLW Consulting. I do, among other things, LGBT competency, cultural humility trainings. And it was interesting to run across folks that are still having a problem, even people who are deeply involved in the LGBT movement, who when asked a gender identity question don't immediately know how to answer. Now that's not a bad thing. It's just a growing edge or a place where we can further educate people. So I'm going to do some really short vlogs here with like very single issue subjects for the next until I run out of those things to do. So anyway, this one's about gender identity, and specifically, how do you answer a gender identity question when you run across it in a, demographic set of questions. So in case the word demographic is a little new to you, so this would be those kinds of questions you're filling out a survey, or you're in a doctor's office and you're filling out the paperwork, and they're asking you things like your sex and your marital status and your race and all of this kind of stuff. White folks, remember you do have a race, it's Caucasian. Sometimes we forget. Those of us who don't have to think about our race very often can forget that we actually have one because it's not something we think about much. Which brings me to gender identity. So while not a lot of demographic spaces are asking gender identity questions, it's a growing edge, and you might run into it and you might look at it and go, I don't know how to answer this question. I don't have a gender identity. Real quick, you do. All of us, 100% of people have a gender identity. For most people, it is cisgender, and congratulations, you don't have to think about your gender identity very much, because it is the one that society expects, that society assumes everybody is part of, and so you don't really have to think about it much. If you're one of those people who wants to know what the words mean, I will put the official definition of the word cis, but basically, if you are cisgender, then the sex marker on your birth certificate, could be the gender marker depending on the wording that they're using, but that M or that F that the doctor put on your birth certificate, and remember, they do that by just a cursory look at your genitalia, not any look. They're not looking at chromosomes. They're not looking at internal organs, just that cursory glance when you're born, and then they put an M or F based on what they see on your birth certificate, that M or F, as you grew up, your sense of yourself matched that. Or enough so that it doesn't cause you any struggle. So if that's true, if the person you understand yourself to be as a older child, as an adolescent, as an adult, matches what that doctor put on your birth certificate at birth, then you are cisgender, and that is your gender identity. Most people are going to be cisgender. Then there are folks who are transgender, where what the doctor saw, by a real cursory glance of genitalia at birth, didn't end up matching what that child, adolescent, or adult understands about themselves. And so then they are, and it causes them a struggle, because what they see in the mirror isn't what they understand it to be the truth about themselves. And so we call those people are transgender. There are some other categories out there, and if you are a person who is gender fluid, gender queer, gender non-conforming, etc., you know who you are, and this video really isn't for you. You would know how to answer that question. This is for the folks out there, most of them are cisgender, who don't know how to answer one of those questions. In short, folks, if you don't know how to answer a gender identity question, then I'm going to guess you're cisgender. It's really easy, folks. So, lessons. Everyone has a gender identity. Most of us are cisgender. Some of us are transgender. And some of us use some other words that feel more authentic for ourselves. Gender fluid, gender queer. There's a lot of different variations. So anyway, that's my short video for today, folks. Have a good one, equals. See you later.